Good evening, fellow ghouls and goblins alike. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we recount tonight's selection. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Wirewolf. Maniacal laugh. Okay, how you doing, Dragon?
Okay.
So, big night for horror fans. Walking Dead coming out. Not to date the podcast too much. Oops, I just dated the podcast in the first 30 seconds. Great.
Again.
Great. Dragon, you know what podcast doesn't date itself in the first 30 seconds?
Maybe Fat Man and Batman?
Possibly. That's actually a very good option. But, you know, a podcast that's a little less known than Fat Man on Batman, but we need to spread the love about. What do you think it is?
Unji Uma. Is it something has to do with movies? Something that's like some sort of engine of combustion? No, some sort of like mechanical thing. Movie.
It's the Movie Machine Podcast. That's right. It's what happens when we take four funny people and improv a movie based on a random story generator. Really, really fast. They just recorded episode 34 just today entitled Bending Light. Bending Light is a romantic comedy aboard a space singles cruise ship starring Stephen Amell, Mindy Kaling, and Harvey Keitel. That's a cast. That's a hell of a cast.
Yeah.
Featuring Kyle Decker, Jacob Gulliver, and two special guests this week, Dragon. Two special guests. We have David Yulin as the writer and Kristen Wade as the director. Got to check it out. It's all kinds of improv-based comedy, cool creative movie ideas at the Movie Machine Podcast at hotchocolatemedia.net. All right, Dragon. I have a feeling this is going to be not one of the more fun podcasts that you and I do, because I gotta say, I rewatched this episode as soon as right before we went on air. I'm really still not crazy about it. This episode is probably among my least favorite episodes of Haunted Holiday Hijinks that we've covered.
That's really bad considering we haven't gone through it yet.
I mean, I'm just kind of like laying out my opinion like right off the gate, just so you're not like, it's good, it's okay. There's some good ideas in it. There's some fun character stuff in it. I just overall just don't really think it gels together all that well. I don't think, I know it's not necessarily supposed to be a Halloween special, but I don't think it's really got all that much creepy atmosphere. Yeah, it's got a werewolf thing, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It really just didn't do it for me. But maybe you can talk some sense into me. Maybe we'll kind of do a debate about it. Who knows? But at any rate, Dragon, what are your memories with this?
Oh, well, I've always been a long-time fan of Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Many, many excellent memories. I'll admit, really, mostly in Season 2, which this is, like a few shows, Tiki, especially the live-action series, The Tick. Episodes are out of order for Buzz Lightyear Star Command in many cases. Like, this episode is actually, it says it's in Season 2, but it's actually supposed to be in, it's technically supposed to be in Season 1. You can kind of tell in the animation styles a bit, because they did digital cleanup on Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bizarre, but aside from that, I've always loved the monster dynamic, and it's kind of a great... After I started rewatching Buzz Lightyear Star Command, I noticed there's kind of a great narrative arc with the monster-themed Buzz Lightyear villains, which include Nose 482, who is just the best. The Wirewolf, who we're going to be exploring today, the origin of the Wirewolf, and XL. XL is also kind of a long timer. He's kind of in between monsters, which is kind of how his arc pans out. He's basically the Frankenstein style brother of XR,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very entertaining. He's voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh, that guy's always a fun time.
Yeah, so my point is, like, these three eventually, the reason we're kind of talking about Wirewolf, not just kind of the meeting of these three, is because there is kind of like a bit of an arc. XL can do like any sort of thing, but as you see, the ending of this episode kind of builds almost like a kind of a mini cinematic monster universe for Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Because eventually these three are going to kind of meet together and fulfill XL's character arc in a way. It's really interesting. It's always kind of intrigued me that oh wow, this cool idea we're going to see in the episode where like as a kid, you wonder, oh my god, what happens if Nosferatu bites a human? You get to see what happens here. Oh my god, if he bites a human under the right circumstances, we have like an awesome werewolf situation going on here. And the animation always stuck with me on this, of like the transformations from Ty Parsec to the Wirewolf. And the Wirewolf had like kind of a neat atmosphere. I guess on some subconscious level, it never really hit upon me as a kid, but I think looking back on it, it was kind of like the Man-Bat episode of Batman animated series form, how we saw the awesome transformations from that one.
I wouldn't put it on the same league.
I know it's not the same, and that's not the same thing. I'm just saying, it's like in some ways, I think as a kid, I might have clicked for me a little bit. Like, okay, it's kind of the cool monster transformation episode. This thing I really held to a high standard.
Perhaps. Dragon, I will give you this. I do think that the monsters in Buzz Lightyear, just from what I've seen, it is a very creative conceit. It's kind of taking the original, the all-star lineup of the Universal monsters, but giving them a cool kind of sci-fi comedic take on them. So I will say it's a creative idea, and maybe the reason why I'm not gelling as much with this is just because I haven't seen the entirety of Buzz Lightyear Star Command, but like I said, there is some fun to be had here. I'm not here to just try and down on this episode the whole time. So,
well, let me say one more thing too. I just want to bring this up before we get into it because this might kind of tie into the conversation. Is that initially, I remember my initial viewing this, I had issues with it, but rewatching, kind of with more critical years later, I kind of hit upon me that Ty Parsec initially as a kid, I always thought, oh man, that guy's super unlikable. He doesn't like Buzz Lightyear. Everyone loves Buzz Lightyear. Who doesn't? But again, as you see in the episode, there's actually some decent layers to, okay, you understand completely why Ty Parsec would have a chip on his shoulder about Buzz Lightyear, which is kind of a neat adult thing. Kind of slipped past me those years ago. Of like, wow, man, there's actually it makes a lot of sense, and you feel bad for Ty Parsec. And the other thing I want to bring up, the thing I think I mainly picked this episode over an XL episodes because aside from the connection of Nosferatu, is I love kind of the I was watching episode Meet Frankenstein, which I have done recently as per tradition because I love that movie, which has the Lon Chaney Jr. I looked into the Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman. Not the man of 1,000 faces, but my God, the best Wolfman ever, Lon Chaney Jr. It has a lot of a lot of earmarks of the classic Wolfman is in this, and I do love those little touches with the sci-fi edge of like, oh my God, it's like he's a space ranger instead of just kind of an average Joe.
Oh yeah.
So this episode still has a lot of fun. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we start with Ty Parsec kind of explaining Sector 4. He's wandering around Sector 4. And let's see, there's a robot with him who's lost power to Nosferatu. I'm sorry, Dragon, you're going to have to help me with some of these names here.
Real quick, first off, I love the eerie atmosphere. Like it's a cloudy planet. It looks like it's like the dead of night almost, but because it's in space, you have like these awesome little flashlight effects where you have this. Basically, instead of flashlights, they have like these floating drones that provide lighting for the search and stuff, which you're going to see a lot of later on. But like right here is kind of going around. They're kind of patrolling kind of the foggy Canis Lunis planet. It's a gag. It's a canine moon. Get it to Canis Lunis. They do a lot of those planet gags in the show with all the various
planets. Sure, I imagine, yeah.
So Ty, and by the way, Ty is voiced by some people may recognize this, Steve Hittner, or Hittner, if I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But the point is, this guy played Kenny Banya on Seinfeld. He was the annoying comic who bugged the crap out of Jerry Seinfeld. He's always going on about, Jerry, what's the deal with Ovaltine? The guy always at the Ovaltine shtick. But seriously, that guy, he's been in a bunch of shows. He's kind of a character actor. He's good, and I like that. He's Ty Parsec.
Yeah, I will say, Dragon, Ty Parsec is a character where when I first saw the episode, I was a little questionable about okay, this guy just doesn't have a good attitude about anything. But you're right. I mean, especially on my rewatch of this episode, I do think he's actually one of the stronger elements here. With his arc, I know you, you pretty much hero worship Buzz Lightyear in your childhood for good reason, but it was interesting to see on a show that does legitimately really hype up Buzz Lightyear. They have a whole character who's just devoted to tracking the Buzz lore, as he mentions in this episode. And it's just, I don't know, to bring in a character like Ty, who is very much not so much anti-Buzz, but just kind of sick of being in Buzz's shadow. It's really interesting. In a way, it's almost it kind of vaguely shadows the Buzz and Woody dynamic just a little bit.
Well, in a way, T, I think you're on the sign there, is that in some ways it is kind of reminiscent of where you get really good storytellings from conflict of Buzz and Woody initially didn't like each other, and here you got
exactly.
It's not the same thing by any means because again these guys have known each other. And
I'm more specifically kind of talking about the Woody being overshadowed by Buzz. That's more where I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a fun kind of dynamic. In some ways, Buzz is oblivious in a different way, as he was in the first Toy Story, because he was oblivious to the fact that he was not a toy. In this case, he's oblivious to the fact that Ty doesn't, as a children's show, for being overshadowed, like you're saying.
Sure.
But you're right, they never really thought of that parallel. It's a really excellent point I gotta give you there. Anyway, so let's see. So Ty is, I always do love kind of the subtle kind of, they never say oh, I know a cowboy on another planet, because obviously that is the fictional show of Buzz Lightyear. That would never happen. But I do there are a few nods to Woody here and there in Buzz Lightyear Star Command, like in the Christmas episode, and my favorite episode, which is an homage to Shane. But maybe we'll get to that one other day, because that's my favorite episode. That's my nostalgic favorite episode, Ricardo Montalban. As anyway, let's
that sounds fun. Anything Ricardo Montalban's in.
So let's see. So Ty Parsec and his Sentry, who's voiced by Dan Castellaneta, by the way.
Okay.
They're basically they're on kind of routine kind of crap detail. They're kind of monitoring the place, kind of like a dead of night kind of search and kind of the perimeter. Nosferatu craves energy. He attacks Sentry 1. Again, Nosferatu voiced by the great Craig Ferguson.
Oh yeah.
Doing his best vampire voice. Attacks Sentry 1. Ty fends off Nosferatu with his laser. Really cool, swift move there. Ty tends to his part. Again, rather caring. The guy does care about the job. Just when he gets overshadowed, he wants to kind of he wants to make his own name, but he's always in the shadow of another name, quite literally.
Oh yeah.
So, he calls it in, but he tries to avoid calling backup initially because he wants to do one on his own, but also he fears they're going to call in the worst person he wants to call in. Sentry 1, I love this. As he's tending to Sentry 1, Sentry 1 does quickly call, "No, we need backup!
We need backup!"
Desperately. And he's like, oh, and Sentry 1 foils that. After it's revealed it's an energy vampire, and who's had experience with the energy vampire? The crew of 42. So it explains it. So Ty claims, he can handle. I can handle this. Here's the Nosferatu's energy shriek or something in the back, because they always give him that great monster sound effect, kind of that great kind of metallic roar, and they give him the opera music, and not the opera music, give him the tense kind of choir in the background. Anyway, this is pretty sure. Then we see a shot of the moon, which again the green moon of Canis Lunius is pretty cool looking. Buzz looks forward to seeing his crew. 42 is being called in. The Gamma Collector is being called in to help out because the energy vampire. Buzz looks forward to seeing his old Academy pal, Ty Parsec again. Booster loves the
war stories.
Yeah, the old rescuing Ty stories. The old every time Buzz save Ty Parsec's bacon, he loves hearing those stories in particular. Mira, let's see. So Mira's heard all.
She recounts the last time they met up with Nosferatu, right?
Right. Mira's saying, "Oh yeah, I've heard all the stories." Booster can't get enough of hearing them. XR is anxious about facing Nosferatu because remember he was taking control of Nosferatu, and he's very terrified of a vampire that feeds on robots. Considering of this crew, only robot.
Right.
It's what if C-3PO had an edge? Pretty much, that's what you get with R2D2. Basically, a mirror of basically you have the attitude of R2D2, but also kind of the speech capabilities of C-3PO mixed together with kind of when R2D2 could speak.
I mean, we might be seeing that with the Alan Tudyk robot in Rogue One.
Very, very true. We might. I'm looking forward to that one too. Okay, boy. So XR was very anxious about facing Nosferatu again, which is a running gag through all the Nosferatu episodes, by the way, where sometimes he's a little over cocky, he's overconfident, he's cocky. He says, "Oh, I know how to stop Nosferatu. Figures out a way to stop Nosferatu. Does not work. He's terrified again." He says, "What do you think the X in the questions Booster and the gang? What do you think the X in my name stands for? Expendable?" Mira gives a failed, and this is the constant thing with Mira. And again, voiced by one of my favorite voice actresses behind Grey Delisle. Oh god, I love
Of course. Sandy, you did a good job of getting us John R. Dilworth. Just Dragon, all your dreams would come true if Grey Delisle was to do this podcast, right?
Of course.
Just all your dreams would just come true if that were the case. So, just putting that out into the Unisphere.
Anyway. So,
no, I do think that Myrna as a character, Dragon, the more I watch the show, the more she kind of grows on me. Because if you're not really into it, she can kind of come across as a little bit of adults. But I feel like the enduring part of her character is that she's really trying. You know what I mean? It's like she is fresh out of the academy. She does admire Buzz, not in the kind of like fanboy way that Booster does. But, you know, she makes mistakes, and I think that makes her a very relatable character in some regards.
Exactly. You know, she's the rookie on... Well, remember, Buzz's team is all rookies, just one of them's a robot.
Sure.
Yes, they are absolutely... It's Buzz on a team of rookies, and she's the most earnest of... It's like, it's between her and Booster for who's the most earnest, but, you know, Booster is kind of... He's the fanboy version. You're absolutely... Yeah, you're right. But the great thing here is, though, also voice by Nicole Sullivan. I bring that up because, again, she's voiced the most sardonic, most awesome character Shigo possible.
Of course.
and here she voices, again, equally awesome, but still the most endearing. Like, she makes jokes that bomb constantly. She she tries giving XR a pep talk here. It just fails miserably. She says, "Oh, yeah, sure, you can do it." But then again, last time you took over Star Command, basically you took him down with your mind control for a week. Basically just...
Yeah, now that I think about it, that was a huge problem.
Yep. Geez. And then I love this. XR gives Buzz his circuit donor card.
Oh, God.
Just knowing that this is not going to end well for him. Let's see. So Ty is not crazy about backup. He says, "Okay, I'm not crazy about backup, but as long as they didn't send... Ty, old buddy." This is the delivery by Patrick Wilburn that cannot be rivaled.
Yeah, you know, it takes a little bit of adjusting to get used to not having Tim Allen there, but once you get used to the show, I think Patrick Warburton does a fantastic job with the role.
Oh, absolutely, and I tell
you... It's not
like
a Dan Castellaneta situation where you're just like, "Where's the old guy? Where's the old guy? I miss the old guy."
And it's kind of cool that it's kind of cool that you have like two versions of like the TV Buzz and kind of it's kind of a meta gag because a lot of the Buzz Lightyear toys are voiced by a different actor. You're voiced by Pat Fraley on the toys, where
right.
You know, the movie is Tim Allen. It's kind of a fun play on that when you think about it. You know, the Buzz Lightyear, fictional Buzz Lightyear show, well, technically real.
And of course, let's not forget our theory that Al from Al's Toy Barn is voicing Zurg in this show.
That's why he stuck so many Buzz Lightyears in. And again, same principle.
I still love that theory.
And again, same principle is that, well, Alan McWilliam does the voice of Zurg, where the Andrew Stan does the voice of Toy Zurg.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
It's pretty funny. Let's see. So again, Buzz Lightyear, he's thrilled to see Ty again. Ty is really not so excited to greet his old pal. Where's a wormhole when you need it? A lot of great sardonic comedy from Steve Hutner in this episode. Ty's sarcasm just completely goes over Buzz's head at every twist and turn. We have the 50th save gag where it says, like, what is this going to be, Ty? The 50th time I've come to say, no, I'm kidding, it can't be that much. And then Booster, the ultimate fanboy, says, "No, Buzz, it's actually going to be 50. Yeah.
It's exactly 50. Exactly the 50th time.
Let's see, we have this great gag where XR in Century 2, important Century 2, he says, "Hey, just between you and me, let's not spread around here, but we're the best hype. Air Ducks 2-7, but you didn't hear it from me."
Oh, God. No, XR is a lot of fun this episode. I will give you that.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, so Ty insists on going by the book, doing the palm scan, even though you know who it is, Ty. You don't need to scan him. He's trying to show some rank. You show, okay, Buzz isn't calling the shots. I'm calling the shots. Buzz puts his hand on the scanner. Downplaying he's very humble. He's kind of downplaying the legend of Buzz. Like, okay, no, Booster, it's fine. It's there. I write the book. Of course, we're going to do it by the book. Scans his hand. I love that. Speaking of that, I want to mention that Buzz, importantly, he does not have an ego through, otherwise it would have made Buzz Lightyear unlikable, which thankfully he's not. He's oblivious, but he's not unlikable.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is an important distinction for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have an ego about like all the stuff, which throughout the whole thing, he barely has ever had an ego. Maybe a time or two, while he'll tell him like, again, it's all factual. Buzz is like said he's done this. It's not like he's saying, "I'm the only one who can do this." But again, he's not lying about anything either. As Scan reads off Buzz's various awards, like the Galactic Starburst, which, by the way,
God.
sounds like a candy. Galactic Starburst.
The Galactic
You know what else
Starbursts.
and you know what
Yes,
that Galactic
yes.
Starburst would go well with, Tiki?
Some rock soup.
Quite possibly a can of your nearest rock soup, or
Chocolate ears.
yes, chocolate ears.
Oh god.
Candy the Tyson way.
Oh,
Holyfield may disagree. So, also Reptar bars. Remember, Tiki, what's the old saying about the Reptar bar?
it's the candy that turns your tongue green.
Slap that on the box, folks, and we'll be off to the races. No, but back to the episode. So, reading off Buzz's various awards: the Galactic Starburst Award, the Order of 1,000, the Order of 1,000 Suns, and then she unplugs before it reads off anymore. Just how he unplugs it so unceremoniously in such a defeated manner. Okay, well, let's quit wasting time. Let's move on. Such a Squidward move, but it's so funny. And you feel for Ty a little bit. It's not out of the wrong Buzz, but yeah, you understand Ty's point. You've been saved by Buzz Lightyear over like 50 times, and people know you not for it's the young rookie in the academy. He's probably done a good job. No, it's the guy Buzz Lightyear keeps saving because he's terrible at his job.
Yeah, and he is part of the Buzz Lightyear lore, but not in a flattering way whatsoever.
He's the damsel in distress in a way. He's the,
right.
It's what he is. He's the damsel.
That'd be very depressing to think about.
I think anyone, again, when you think about it, you can really sympathize with a guy instantly. Of, oh man, I would have such a chip on my shoulder.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. So it's exposited. I love this exposition, by the way. I love this kind of. I always love the logic of the Buzz Lightyear Star Command universe. All these various kind of like when you go to different planets, you see like how the fuel engines work and that sort of stuff. Remember, the spaceships run on crystallic fuel. You mentioned the first Toy Story. Do you guys get run on crystallic fusion yet? You know that whole thing. We have crystallic fusion in the show, and it's exposited. This base in particular is a really cool, like kind of fun logic to this. Is that the base absorbs the green moons, the Canis Lunis moons, the green radiation. It basically they have a giant satellite, importantly, that absorbs energy and converts it into it converts like the lunar radiation into energy. It's a code name Operation Moonbeam.
Right.
I just love how that's used later on. Like they use it against Nosferatu for a bit because it absorbs energy, and absolutely that'd be kind of kryptonite to the vampire. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. But again, seriously, kind of this is how we get energy, and they're trying to. And Ty Parsec is really proud of this because what he's trying to do here is trying to have like an alternative energy source instead of crystallic fusion, which again, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I just have to apologize. I don't think my notes are very on point with this one, but
So XR calls it Nosferatu buffet. Very funny. Again, maybe an alternative fuel source instead of crystallic fusion, which would be big. Buzz checks the body, kind of like a little autopsy scene for kids, but it's a robot, so it's cool.
Oh, and you can get away with anything on a cartoon if it's a
Tiki,
robot.
I can't tell you how many episodes of Batman they had a robot excuse for a few episodes of Batman the Animated Series, and they love doing those because you can do the most horrific things to robots and get away with it on kids' television. Like
look what we're doing with Westworld, just the most horrific things we can imagine with these characters, but hey, they're robots.
I mean, like Batman electrocuted a robot version of Bullock once. It was really hilarious. Oh god, it was it was horrifying, but still, so you can get away with it. Oh, it's so cool.
Right.
Let's see. So Buzz checks the body. He's looking for clues and stuff. XR counts the rivets. Gag because he counts the rivets because he doesn't want to.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I started over. I lost count. I have to start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mira confirms, oh yeah, it's the work of Nosferatu, or well, it's a robot Hickey, and then she laughs and she loses. Again, she loses herself. She's still green.
Yeah. That is kind of a quirky, endearing part of her character. Is just the jokes that don't land, the failed comedian,
Yeah, and it's like, can you imagine two robots? I love the two. It's kind of an edgy gag. It's that two robots gonna look to each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Didn't catch that as a kid. I'll say that much. Let's see. So Buzz is on the case. His old catchphrase. My old catchphrase from the academy. Buzz Lightyear, to the rescue! And there's I love Ty's like mocking Buzz
I am
Lightyear.
just like so not down for that at all.
Yeah, it's just like words that are like chalkboard, it's like nails scraping on a chalkboard form.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I've
oh
heard
yeah.
50 times since ruined my
Which
life.
is great, which is great because of course Buzz Lightyear to the rescue, to infinity and beyond, all that stuff. It's just like it's just been woven into the dialect of '90s kids. You know what I mean? Hello? Oh no.
Yes?
Yeah, did you hear me?
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I was just saying, like, it's fun to have a character who's like so, who's so uninterested in like the classic Buzz Lightyear terminology that '90s kids kind of grew up with.
Oh yeah. I just remember like Woody being constantly hitting Buzz when we hear that statement.
Of course.
Hearing that statement in the first Toy Story. Buzz, Lightyear to the rescue. Anyway, let's see. So we get the haunted. XR worries for his safety. Buzz is on the case. We're at the haunted flashlight. Again, we have kind of a fun little flashlight exterior going on here. Again, it's really creepy, really ominous. Booster and Ty are paired together. He's going over. He wants
Which is
details.
a very fun pairing. That's a very fun pairing.
The ultimate fanboy who wants all the answers to like all the various times Buzz saved him. It's the worst combination.
So tell me about this one time that Buzz saved you. Hiss, blam, Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. The end.
Buzz tells it better. Which he does. And, he says, I'd love to elaborate, but this bit was a little mean. But it had a bit of comedy at the end of it, which made it all work as where he just, I'd love to elaborate, but he smashes his communicator, but my communicator's busted. But the fact that Booster isn't just like he's like not like put off, but he's just positively his positivity overshines here, where he says, "Oh, you can't fool me. Every ranger has a backup." He skips along. It's hilarious seeing him skip along.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So Buzz finds I believe Buzz finds a drained battery, so he knows, okay, we're close to that. This is a fun little jump scare, I gotta say. Buzz says,
it is a good scare, yeah.
Drained battery. He's close. And it's revealed he's sitting right above him.
He's right above you, Buzz. Ooh.
And it's this great. This is Patrick Warburton timing at its finest. Very close.
Yeah. So, they hear Buzz, and Ty wants to go after him because Ty wants to rescue Buzz for a change, right?
Yeah, which is kind of a fun payoff in the grand scheme. We got Nosferatu. He spots the absorbing satellite. Says, "Oh, my favorite dish." And then I love this. He sees XR. Says, "You can't have just one robot." He descends on XR, and then Buzz and
XR just tried to small talk him.
Yeah, this is cool. This is a fun running gag too. Whatever XR and Racer always tries to distract him with pleasantries, and it's always hilarious. So Buzz, and this is a cool idea too. Like Buzz and Ty are both simultaneously trying to save XR here.
Sure.
So Buzz calls it in. Ty attempts for the rescue. Ty runs in for the rescue. XR is used. He tries to make pleasantries as they call for backup. No lunch for you. It's trying to think of. Forget if. All right, I think XR is trying to compliment him on his weight or something. Says, "Oh, no lunch for you though, right? Because look at you, you're great shape. Why wouldn't you be?" Ty saves XR right at the nick of time, but is attacked. So as Buzz goes for this. And this is a really cool plan on Buzz's part here, knowing that the satellite's going to absorb the energy of the moon, the radiation, the energy of the moon. It's going to absorb the energy from Nosferatu, which is like a power vacuum, which is really cool. He starts to drain Nosferatu. And again, this is a really heroic bit on Ty's part, too. They're kind of working together. For a moment, things are actually going well for Ty. He saved the robot, he saved the day, and he's kind of working alongside Buzz Lightyear instead of being saved by him, which is a start. Nosferatu tries to escape, and Ty's just holding him down, which I think is really cool. But then, this is again the thing I've always wondered before this episode came out. Like, what would happen if Nosferatu bit a guy? Nosferatu tears Ty's his big old robot claws. Just tears the suit open, which is dangerous for any ranger. And then he just bites down. Because he would absorb energy from the space, so it's usually what he does. But he kind of bites the wrong spot. He bites into the arm.
And it just makes him lose his appetite.
Says, I never drink blood. Now I've just lost my appetite. And he flees. And what's so great about that, I just love the classic reference to Lugosi there. Just, I never drink wine.
Yeah, right, of course.
But also, again, that's so trippy. You don't really see blood, but it's a big reference of blood on a Disney show. So, oh my god, it's
And
reference
it's
strip.
also just, it's just kind of fun, again, with these sci-fi twists on the classic characters, like a vampire who has no interest in blood, you know?
Yeah, you gotta remember, especially at the time, this is still kind of coming out of the '90s here. And the show I want to say was from '99 to 2000, or from 2000 to 2001, one of the two.
Right.
This is we're still in a sensitive period with the vampires here. Vampirism was something that was rarely done on kids' television.
Sure.
Like I think the best thing we got was probably Dracula from Revenge's Billionaire. It's probably the closest we got with vampires. That's a main example of like when you can have like mentions of like Dracula don't suck, Dracula scrape, then lick.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Ty brushes off Buzz's concerns, really ticked off. XR's thanking him. Booster can't wait to tell the story of how Buzz saved him because again he did
Oh,
save him
God.
with that.
Oh, Booster, he has such good intentions, but such bad timing.
Yeah. Ty sarcastically encourages Booster. Oh, please, will
Oh,
you
please,
get
by
right
all
on there?"
means, make the call right away.
And it's just, and I love it has a great line. Sarcasm's really lost in the big one, isn't it?
Yup.
Let's see. Mira tries to point out Ty's embitterment to Buzz, but Buzz is still just very oblivious to it. Of course there's something off with him. Mira just got bit by a vampire. What are you done? Let's see. Ty laments in his room. The very kind of a launch again, very werewolf-like kind of framing here. This is where we really get into the werewolf stuff here. We already had kind of a little bit of
about half the episode, but when it gets going, it does get pretty fun.
I think we had some good atmosphere in the beginning to hold us off.
We did. You're right. And Nosferatu is always a fun villain to explore. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the werewolf stuff is definitely it's kind of a slow build to the werewolf stuff, but it's fun when we get there.
The best stuff with the werewolf things, I love the framing. The framing is so classic Wolfman stuff. Like we kind of go in and out of like we kind of obscure the transformation in places like later on, and like right here though it's like kind of the closed off room. Like I was watching Having Still Make Friends. I'm not saying that's like the full like pure Wolfman movie or anything. He's a character in it. Don't get me wrong. My point is they have they serve great reference to that, and there's the great thing where he transforms in the room next to Abbott and Costello's alone. They homage the movies exactly.
Really off topic for a second, but I always thought that the Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins Wolfman was really good.
Okay.
And everyone slammed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen that one, but I keep hearing the great.
Good. I thought it was really good.
I always hear the greatest things about American Werewolf.
American Werewolf in London?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, anyways.
Anyway. So, so Ty's lamenting in his room. He is baked in the green moonlight. Let's see he talks about an Alpha Centauri transfer to another kind of system. He considers a transferring to
Is that a reference to something? Because that sounds like a reference to something.
It might, but Alpha Centauri is like it's referenced throughout Star Command. Like it's kind of a section. It's like a sector of the galaxy. Like a Buzz Lightyear, I want to say,
so it's kind of like a running location.
Yeah, like Buzz Lightyear's in the Gamma Quadrant, as he mentions in Toy Story. So that's his section. Like it's like they have Green Lanterns have like different sections of the galaxy.
Okay, cool.
So I'm pretty sure it's Alpha Centauris, but you might be honest. They like to squeeze in a lot of kind of Star Trekian references.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. Like I wouldn't know because I'm not a Star Trek guy, but
well, I don't know if it's. I'm just saying like Star Trek has tons of little references here and there, and they have tons
of course.
They like to squeeze in a lot of clever gags like that. Let's see. So the wound, and this animation I think is so cool. It's not as iconic as the Man-Bat transformation, but still in reference to kind of a werewolf sort of thing. It is really good. It's kind of a new sci-fi.
Creative. We'll give it that.
As I would say, it's such a sci-fi werewolf transformation. We've seen kind of debatably from what I've heard one of the best. I'm still kind of arguing for the Lon Chaney transformation, but a lot of people say the best transformation is from American Werewolf in London, where it's like you see like the snout growing out and all the.
That does have a good transformation in it. The thing is, that movie's more of like a horror comedy, whereas Lon Chaney's Wolfman is more like in the traditional realm of what the Wolfman character would be. So
yeah, because I still love those fades from that.
I guess it just kind of depends on the take or on your tastes.
Exactly. I mean? I'm an old school. Like again, I love the old kind of the fading transition, which we also saw in Freakazoid, which is hysterical. Let's see. So the wound transforms him horrifyingly into the Wirewolf, where like basically wires and stuff are just shooting out of his arm that's wrapping around him. It's like it's a. I do have one issue with the animation later on, which is kind of we fade away, not in the Wolfman style, we just kind of fade back to normal, which is like kind of that's a little weird. That's much later though.
I thought that was just kind of lazy more than anything else.
That's what I'm saying. That's like it doesn't make much sense and it bugs me. It's my only griping. That's much later on.
Like, we don't have the animation budget to show him transforming back.
Well, it's less that to you. There's a big glaring issue in that scene, which we'll get to later. But it's addition to that. It's point is though, right now we have a horrifying transformation of the Wirewolf. It's really cool. It's like so sci-fi. It's like oh god, what is plugging into him? He's growing. And it's a little bit obscured in shadow at times. It's cool looking. And it's very much framed like a horror film. We get let's see, we get some flashlight and shadows and red lighting in the hallway as he attacks the Sentry. And again, that specifically is framed just like a Wolfman attack, where it's like I love maybe not precisely like the specific version. I'm thinking like the original version. I can't quite. Recall, but you know, I mean, it's very ferocious, really. Like we don't see the body being attacked; we see the pieces. Like it's like the most horrific attack you can show in kids' television because it's a robot. He's attacking a robotic Sentry. Like parts are flying all over the place.
Right.
And yeah, I love the idea that much like Nosferatu, the idea is the Wirewolf absorbs energy as well, but he doesn't. He's like the uncivilized Nosferatu. Like he'll rip things apart and he'll like it's not just like biting and absorbing. He doesn't have a clear-cut sort of way of absorption. Like he has wires that can do it sometimes, but otherwise just tear you to pieces because he's a savage. And we get oil and stuff later on, so it's so horrifying yet hilarious because it's a robot.
Yeah.
And with all that, that's in the red lighting just happens because the thing has red eyes. It's really cool. Let's see, Ty awakens in horror. Now this is exactly like the classic Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman.
I would argue, this is very much in the Lon Chaney style. Absolutely.
This is my jam right here. I love this. I love the Lon Chaney Wolfman so much. Ty awakens in horror. He's disheveled. He's in the Sentry's oil, which again is our fill-in for blood here.
Right.
The Rangers happen upon the body. Ty's scattered. He's getting out of there. XR is like, oh, the humanity, oh. Like again, all the humanity. God. Let me see. Is that a reciprocal? It's either reciprocal or reciprocating. Reciprocating. It's a roaster. It's a gyro. Sorry. The technology. I want to make sure I get it right. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Reciprocating. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Reciprocating gyro roaster.
Okay.
It says, and Mira points out the morbidity.
I believe you.
Mira points out the morbidity of that, of the fact that he's taking parts from other robots, despite the fact he's terrified of being in pieces himself, which again is such a C-3PO fear, which is understandable.
Right.
I love that he references another Disney movie. I think it's hysterical. He just says, "Circle of life, Mira, circle of life." I mean, wise words, but still, it has to be a bit of a Disney reference. Come on, bit of a Lion King
I would
reference.
think so. I mean, especially like for the time period when the Lion King was still like the biggest thing the studio had ever done.
Yeah, direct-to-video sequels are coming out for it.
Yeah.
I think now Lion King even has another series on right now.
It's got the Lion Guard, which I haven't heard great things about. It's Playhouse Disney, so
it looks very dumb, honestly. Just
it's Playhouse Disney, so don't expect much.
I'm saying, it looks very desperate. Like, hey,
that'd be one thing. Like they could actually like do some cool things with the lore, but it's on Playhouse Disney, so.
That's fair. I'm just saying, it seems like we've just run out of ideas. We did Lion King 1.5, which was clever, but now we're just out.
Lion King 1.5 is better than it had any right to be, considering the premise.
True. It was very entertaining.
Anyways.
And I had Jerry Stiller in it.
Yes, it did.
So
Marge Simpson.
Yes. Anyway, let's see. So Buzz assigns he signs XR Mira to check the entry points, boosters on the victims, and he's going to save. I'm going to tell Ty. So love this. He says, "I'm going to save Ty." He reckons, I'm going to tell Ty.
Right.
Again, Buzz. Again, he's not trying to be mean about that.
Exactly.
He's
oblivious. He's oblivious.
And again, it is kind of a pattern for him. Like usually when he spots it, gotta save Ty. It's instinctual. Let's see, XR follows Mira very closely. You have a personal space gag of like, hey, personal space. He's so terrified, like Lucas Costello. He's
Oh, God.
huddling so close to her. Let's see. So, Buzz informs and he asks Ty like what's going on. Do you hear noise going outside? Notices his uniform's in shambles. I'm a rough sleeper. It's ridiculous. I'm a rough sleeper. His clothes are tattered. There's rough sleeping, then there's just scary. Let's see. So he says, "You've lost a robot
and your
trousers." I'm aware of that. Thank you.
So let's see. We have Booster kind of recounting the last night's attack, and of course XR just gets more and more nervous.
Yeah, the Rangers kind of doing kind of a debriefing, kind of going over their findings. No entry, but graphic. It goes into graphic detail and destruction, which you're right, makes XR feel faint. XR goes outside for a moment. XR finds 11.5D 11.5D footprint
Claw
trail.
marks.
Yeah. Well, no, fine. I think it's grab if it was claws or is it footprints?
It's claw marks because they specifically mentioned Nosferatu 2 doesn't have any feet, so it's got to be claw marks.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so also they pointed the radioactivity and the lack of feet, which there's something else. We got to find it. They need a trap. They need bait.
All we need is a gadget, something with bells and whistles, preferably round.
And
wait a second. Bad idea. They'd expect that, and that's why it's a bad idea. Yeah, very bad.
I just love that. So
I would say that moment is probably the most clever gag in the episode. I would say.
Neil Flynn and Larry Miller, they're the ones that did the voice of XR. Like sometimes they shifted because Larry Miller's a busy guy.
Uh-huh.
So I gotta tell you, the timing Neil Flynn had on XR was for the comedic delivery was just on point, where he changed subjects like that. We're saying, "Oh, it sounds like a good idea," and he's wait, no, bad idea. Bad ideas. Right. We'll completely pull a 180 right in front of you. Let's see, XR is now in the lunar bait trap, which is kind of a clever setup. I actually do have a great Abbott and Costello reference in this episode, which delighted me to know.
Oh, sure.
So one is just saying it's XR's just like calling out, just like basically the gag that he is such obvious bait, and Buzz is telling me, "Don't be so can we be less obvious with the bait?" See, Mira, we have Mira's secure gag, where she's very insecure herself. She's saying, "Oh yeah, we are secure. I'm not quite sure. What do you mean by that?" She's looking around.
You're not radio silence.
No, she's rambling on as we all do at times. The moon is full in the skylight. That's very important, which leads to ties, as you can see in the image before us. Is during that whole little stakeout right here. The moon transforms Ty into the Wirewolf. Buzz is oblivious. With the Wirewolf just standing there behind him, and XR in a very Abbott Costello-like manner. XR is terrified.
You're right. It is very Abbott and Costello, right?
The thing Abbott Costello is famous for that. I think they made famous the gag of trying to point out something's terrifying. Then no one
I think so. I think that was definitely in their wheelhouse for sure.
It's the standard, Let's see. So after the Abbott Costello gag, he transforms back, which again, pure Lou telling Bud Abbott to try the candle move. Let's see. So, and Buzz grills XR telling me, "How many times have I told you to clean behind your sensors, Ranger?" Mm-hmm. Then he transforms again. He shreds XR to pieces, and now they're all caught up. Okay, Wirewolf is there. Not good. XR, power is completely drained. Ty is gone.
Mm-hmm. Then they hear a wolf howl in the distance.
Yep, and the Booster's left putting the pieces back there. Pinky. Looking for a pinky.
Oh, God.
Buzz and Mira in hot pursuit of the Wirewolf. Ty's back, and he's informed of the attack. Sounds suspicious to me, but
yeah.
He has
like Clark Kent showing up like, "Gee willikers, Clark, you just missed Superman."
Yeah, same old Smallville here. Smallville's always missing the action.
Right.
And eerily, Ty has XOR's voice box, and importantly, Ty, he's no more kind of hiding. He tells him right out the gate, he's like, "Okay, guys, look, you're in danger. Gotta get out of here."
Uh-huh.
And he says,
"Especially you, Buzz."
Well, why would I have to be? Why am I in danger? Because I am that thing. Tells him about the blackouts. That blackout was especially a danger. He transforms again, and you can imagine as this fight's going on, Mira's pointing out to Buzz finally that he and Ty have issues to work out.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, just a little bit, just a little quabble. I'm sure it's fine.
Let's see. So they realize it's the moon that's doing this to him. Let's see. He sucks the. That's what I really love about the Wirewolf too, is that he has like these wires that come out and they absorb the energy instead of biting, which I thought was like so kind of eerie. Like they're about to shoot him with the lasers or something. Basically, sucks them dry of their powerful suits. They retreat. They evacuate and they try evacuating in an orderly manner. A lot of panic. Let's see what's going on here. The Wirewolf blocks the entry to the ship, and if the Wirewolf gets to the ship, they could be stranded. If it drains the power to the ship, they'll be stranded. They have to wait until daybreak, which is hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So Buzz goes for the Newsonian maneuver, which I love. They poke fun at this too. I'm sorry, do you want to take some of the Newsonian maneuver?
Yeah, well, Myrna is just like, what? I don't exactly know what that is.
Yeah, Booster knows it. I'll tell you on the way.
Oh yeah, but then as they're going, she kind of just, and I forget this about Myrna, that she can read minds.
Yeah, she's Tangians can phase through the brain. They can read minds.
So she kind of just like, just gets the information for herself from Booster's mind, and also, oh, and by the way, you really need to let that bully in 3rd grade go.
No, like that. I love that it's not even specified to be a bully. What leads the imagination to run wild is that playground incident.
The playground incident, right. Just like Dragon, just like the infamous Twinkle Light fiasco of '89.
That's what I'm saying.
So many lives lost in the Twinkle Light fiasco of '89. So many lives lost.
So many people just died hard. And again, Goofy's mother just lit up like Goofy's mother lit up like a dry Christmas tree, man. It was horrifying. Just lit ablaze. I'm talking about smoke and everything. Oh god, it was horrible. Anyway, it's only burnt dog for a week. Anyway, so. I just love they're subverting the whole no time to explain gag.
Of course.
He's subverting the cliche like that. Anyway, so as Buzz is holding off the Wirewolf, he's trying to talk some sense in the TIE Parser, which is a nice little culmination here. As he holds off, holds off as Booster and Mira head for the moon. I kind of saw this coming even back then because of my love for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, where they constantly would blow up the moon.
Right, of course.
Let's see, so Buzz is wrapped in the wires at some point, which is a cool image. I love this, that Mira's questioning if this is going to work, and Booster says,
You question my knowledge of Buzz lore?
Which is hilarious. They activate the distress beacon, so they get some help, so they're not stranded on there. Because unfortunately, destroy the most precious thing in the world, which is 42. Ship is aimed for the moon. It's reaching there. They eject. Buzz reaches Ty, and this is nice. I love that it wasn't just Ty reverts back. I love there was a little bit of hesitation on Ty's part. So Buzz was successful in. Buzz reached Ty by asking him to save Buzz this time.
Yeah, that was a good little wrap up to the Ty storyline, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. It wasn't like he just completely snapped back normal. I love that he stopped. He kind of realized what was going on in the last minute. And then the moon blows up, so it's a twofer. So Ty is then back to normal, and this is the thing that bugs me. So again, this is the transformation I think is the weak sauce for 2 reasons. One, obviously, is just kind of a fade back to normal, which we saw that.
Yeah, it's not great.
Here's my bigger issue, Tiki. Again, he has no helmet. No helmet. They're in space. Buzz and all the other Rangers have their helmets on. Importantly, but Ty, no helmet, and he's no helmet. His suit's ripped to shreds. Like that was BS. No, I'm sorry. I'm screwing that up a little bit. I'm sorry, but my point still stands that no, he has his helmet on, but he would in no way would he have his helmet on. Sorry, I screwed that one up. But you know what I mean, though, right? It's like he magically has his helmet on because otherwise it'd be too noticeable and his head would explode.
Sure.
But seriously, how ridiculous is that? He transforms and now he just has the helmet on.
Honestly, it didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but
I'm
yeah,
just saying that's
I can
really
see your
obvious. Like,
point.
where the helmet and the suit come from? He just he should be in
Right.
shreds and without a helmet, otherwise be dead.
Anyways.
So XR feels refreshed after his nap, quote unquote. What'd I miss? We blew up a moon!
Oh, God.
Oh, good. So it's so eerily how many things we watch where blowing up the moon is such a ready-to-go option.
Yeah, that's true.
Ty thanks Buzz. Really nice, genuine moment showing Ty's arc here. He's kind of coming fool around here. And Buzz makes it clear that Ty saved Buzz. Makes it clear to Booster. This time Booster Ty saved me.
Of course.
Just the confidence boost. I like that. It's not overstated or anything. It's just that Buzz realizes that it never occurred to me, but that Ty's feelings would really be hurt by all the times I saved him. So I want to make sure that he knows that this time he saved me. He's his own guy.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. The facility is shut down, unfortunately, which thankfully means no more energy vampire. Then XR finds out, wait a minute, where's Nosferatu? He got away? No one stopped Nosferatu. While I was indisposed, and he panics, rightfully so, because again, I love that we realized in the last minute of the episode that, oh my god, Nosferatu was in this episode and he got away.
Of course, right.
He created a monster and he got away. He's unaware of a lot what was going on there, and it's revealed. I always love this ending. The ending is, I think, one of the best parts.
I assume it plays into the next time we see these characters, at least to an extent, right?
Yes, it's the one where they all get. Basically, this is kind of your Marvel post credit scene that links all of the
right. Yeah, that's kind of what I took it as. Yeah.
It's basically the last appearance of basically the wrap of all the monster stuff is him recreating the Wirewolf, and the point is, it is very important what he's doing here. He grabbed. It's revealed that Nosferatu finds a piece of radioactive moon rock. Lovely. The Wirewolf shall live again! And flies off. One, I love that every Marvel film says, and this character will be around again. Or
Right, yeah.
But seriously, though, how cool a kind of classic old school horror movie is like the Wirewolf shall live again!
Oh, yeah, it was a good ending. It was a good ending for sure.
There's a cool shot of him holding that little moon rock.
Okay, Dragon, and that was the Wirewolf. Okay, any final thoughts on it from your end?
I still think it's a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff. The atmosphere still wins me over. And again, the design of the Wirewolf, it's super cool. And again, I think ultimately where the monster story is going, it is kind of a great middle point of all the monster stuff, where ultimately is going to definitely play into the ending where Nosferatu gets the moon rock. But importantly, I like that it has some good character stuff with Buzz and Ty Parsec. There's a lot more layers to it than you would think initially. And then of course, the classic kind of homages to the classic horror, but doesn't overshadow what the episode's about. So I think it's a good blend of things. It's entertaining.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites, but Dragon, talking through it with you, I definitely can kind of appreciate it a little bit more than just me watching it on my own, because you're definitely the bigger fan of this show, and I'm kind of watching it from the outside looking in, so I appreciate it. It's not my cup of tea, really, because I kind of like my scares to be a little bit more traditional, but this does do some very creative things with it, so so props there, and I'm sure that next Haunted Holiday Hijinks will do the conclusion to this whole Buzz Lightyear monster saga.
Well, maybe, but again, we always have more to go to, even if we just wrap it up, because we have a few more Nosferatus. Can be selected with the XLs, but basically one more Wirewolf conclusion. He only has 2 appearances, so this and the ending.
Okay, fair enough. That's one thing I shouldn't do, is I shouldn't make promises. So
yeah, let's not make promises.
All right. But you know what I can promise you, Dragon?
What?
That in spite of our spirits growing weary this evening, they'll return stronger than ever on another thrilling episode of Haunted Holiday Hijinks.
To the rescue!